In today's video, we are doing what if Russia went into a civil war. So, firstly, we're going to focus on the conflicts they currently have, which is between Georgia and then Ukraine, as I feel like these will probably be the cause of said collapse. So, firstly, we'll draw the Russian-Ukraine front line that is around this. And then we'll start talking about how it collapsed. Firstly, in Asia, South Asia, not in Eastern Europe, Russia, the Chinese start to heavily influence down in Russia. Which which colour shall we do? We'll do purple. The Chinese influence will be in purple. Say yes. Okay. Anyway, with Chinese influence starting to build in in the southern area, a rebellion breaks out. Actually, I want to do pink for the rebellion around the Chinese border. The pink rebellion breaks out, which kind of wants to unify with China. As Russian troops are mainly in Ukraine and Georgia right now, they can't really stop this, as mass amounts of important land in the east are taken over by the Pink faction. The Pink faction also breaks out along this border, which does then give the hint that China is involved with said faction. This does lead to Ukraine being able to push back slightly in Russia, eventually kicking them out of their country, leaving the Ukrainians occupying Crimea and a bit of the surrounding Russian lands. Kaliningrad then fully... actually, I don't think that was okay. The Polish declare war on Russia, using this as a chance to take over Kaliningrad. And I'm going to change the Georgian colour real quick to green. Georgia also uses this as a chance to invade into the occupied regions of their country, and also a bit of Russia. Russia isn't looking well. As the news reaches the Russian public, civil unrest starts to arise, with factions starting to break out around Russia, with the brown faction breaking out there, a sort of northern faction breaking around here, ending up taking these islands alongside with them. So these islands there. A Finnish kind of unification faction also breaking out. Let's do this. Let's do yellow. Breaking out around Finland, kind of wanting to either unify or make an independent state. It is currently on the side of between people fighting. And a third faction forming in Siberia, I think it's area. Trying to find a colour. Light green. No, that isn't green. Orange, yeah, orange. With a orange faction breaking out in the south of Siberia. With the central Russian government pretty much in collapse at this point from several factions breaking away, this does lead to the factions being able to quickly invade into the surrounding territories, kind of securing their gains, their original area. Also, we're going to colour in Finland. just make it so that does look pretty green. But anyway, just to show they're kind of helping this faction. This faction starts to arise, pushing out of it. The Ukraine also sees this starting to push out. I should do major cities and capitals. Starting to push towards these capitals. These major cities, taking them. Also taking that major city down there. With Georgia doing pretty much the same thing, taking that major city down there, kind of fortifying the Caucasus, which also then does a massive hit to the Russian oil. This is not good, as the Russian army is already weakened before attacking anyone by Ukraine. With the Brown faction starting to rise up pretty quickly, they aiming to get these major cities, the Russian army manages to build a front line around them, stopping them to expand around the major city, stopping them getting the major cities. But the Brown team does then eventually meet up with the Orange team that then form a temporary truce. Well, not a temporary truce, a agreement on how to split the country if they win. This is then joined up with them taking where the railway is and sort of do the general area, which fully cuts Russia off from their holdings in the south and in the east. No, you are not. Oh, it's a capital, isn't it? In the east, which does not help the current situation there, with China officially joining the war and flooding troops into the surrounding area. Also, mysteriously, Mongolia becomes Chinese. But also, this leads to China taking full advantage of Russia, trying to get as much good lands as possible. Which leads to this. And another faction forming, which I think I could do. And this colour here. This faction forms in the north. Which, by the colour, you may guess it might be led by some certain power that is very close to this region. That's very red, white, and blue. Yes, I'm referring to America. America, which I'm not going to do properly as you won't be looking at it this time, does get involved in said conflict. If I can find the colours I just used. Which I cannot find the colours I just used. And leading to America getting involved with said conflict as well, as they see this as a chance to firstly secure their superpower status, but also to get some land, kind of get a reverse Alaska. With the current government of Russia collapsing, a sort of neo-monarchist government. How about this? Neo-monarchist government start to form around the area up here, electing some random general to be a king, and then starting to push towards Moscow. This is not good for Russia. However, some Russian allies do start to send up volunteers, which does start to aid the Russians that have now fully got their, stuff together. With Russia pushing into Ukraine, taking back these two major cities, then pushing this northern Finnish group to take their capital there, their old capital, and pushing them back to there. Then mainly focusing around their capital, to be honest, pushing back the White Army back to there, and also trying to regain the railway, which is, to be honest, probably along that major city line. Kind of attempting to get as much land as possible, leading to this northern part of the Brown team army collapsing, and also this part of the Orange team collapsing. This group up here kind of just is left to do whatever the hell it wants, as Russia doesn't really care about this part, as it probably has the combined might of 100 people. which does lead to them expanding, meeting up with the American army, which they do agree to work together. Talking about the American army, or the American-led rebellion, Russia does heavily focus on them, as they kind of want China to take them over the Americans. Thus anyway, this part of Russia is kind of just seen as a lost cause, as they focus on their more populated areas, leading to Georgia also being pushed back, with them taking back the oil fields in Dhaka. They then focus solely on Georgia, kicking it out the war. They kind of agree that Poland is a lost, Kaliningrad is a lost cause at this point, agreeing to peace with Poland, which, as you may guess, this is just Polish annexation of Kaliningrad. As they have now got officially won them out the war, that will stop aiding the other sides. They can now focus on trying to kill another group, which is the Whites, as they have the most military structure out of all of the rebellions that aren't other nations, leading to the Whites becoming very weak and small, until eventually agreeing to rejoin the Russian state under certain circumstances, such as giving them more autonomy, giving them more power, and so on. Meanwhile, as Russia kind of has no influence in Europe anymore, as they're kind of in a civil war, Romania unites with Moldova, which kind of forces Transnistria to join them. And Montenegro, I think it might be called. Well, anyway, doubtfully gets independence as Russian support to Serbia collapses. And Belarus actually would be part of this war most likely, so they join, leading to Ukraine quickly putting troops up. And also, I would assume since Poland would have probably been at the war at the same time, they would probably occupy this area. Completely forgot about Belarus, to be honest. I apologise. Anyway, in Belarus, we have a liberation army kind of taking over the government, leading to Ukraine giving them the land that they occupy, which gives the citizens quite a big morale boost as they flood into their old territory, their territory, actually fully retaking it, pushing into Russia to form some sort of buffer state here, and Ukraine gives them this part to occupy it as well. It does not look good for Russia anymore. Especially now, since China's already officially joined the war, as the Central Asian region starts to aid these two rebellions, which leads to the ground team taking these 4 major cities, retaking these 2 major cities, and also taking back a lot of the land they lost, possibly even more than they originally had. Also, this orange team does manage to take some land back, also taking some land off the ground team, willingly of course, as Kazakhstan is kind of shunned by Russia, as they realise it's Kazakhstan doing it. No surprise saying that anyone borders it. Anyway, Turkey and Azerbaijan start to try to influence Russia to give them land. It does not work for now. Anyway, Ukraine continues to push down, retaking this area that Russia has occupied, also liberating part of Georgia, and then returning with their territory to them. Eventually into the full death of whatever this nation is called. Anyway, in Africa, we have all Russian support, or all Russian influence, just disappearing. It slowly wanes and withers, and India starts trading with Russia, turning fully to the Western nations. Talking about Western nations, more countries start to aid Ukraine until the entire of Europe is sending aid to Ukraine and Belarus, which is now declared itself a democracy. Very good choice. Which leads to Ukraine having a busted front line, leading to mass amounts of land being taken, and Belarus doing much of the same, taking a lot of land, and also listening to the request of the Baltics to kind of take that to protect them. The Finnish country kind of gets help from Sweden and Norway as well, as Finland officially joins the war, sending their full army to invade into Russia. We are occupying a lot of land that the Russians kicked them out of. I don't think Russia's surviving this, especially since when China and the US agreed on a peace treaty for up here, with the US getting the northern bit, to occupy for now, and China getting this bit to occupy, with the US no longer attacking, and China starting to flood troops into this region. The Russian East is officially gone for good. It's not them just abandoning it, it's just gone. With the RNG meeting up the Chinese and American forces, and this nation pushing down to fully cut them off, to make a bigger country, which also agrees with the Brown and Orange team to how to split the nations. Eventually they get through to China to agree to their split, and the US to agree with these guys. Pretty good. With talks going between the other nations that are joined and the rebellions, Russia does not look well, especially since the White Army rises up closer to the Russian capital, with another general being in charge, because the other one died mysteriously. That's led to the rebellion. With mass amounts of Russian support, Moscow is eventually taken by the rebellion group, leading to Russia basically being a failed state at this point. So, why I look up for some other rebellion? No. I can continue, yeah. I'll just check the time. With the Neo-Russian Empire taking over that nation, taking over that major city, the other nations kind of realise they will not stop. They will keep attacking. So they kind of give Russia a very, very around this point to hopefully contain this rebellion. As Ukraine cuts them off from the Caucasus completely, leading to their towers collapsing, and Georgia being fully liberated. And also given some land to aid Ukraine from occupying it. That much land. And right now, up here, it is much the same, with the Russians abandoning the area, trying to focus on their core areas, which is seen with them retaking Moscow, as they realise the Western armies mysteriously stop pushing. They retake Moscow, killing the emperor of this nation yet again, and kind of just killing anyone that remains. As soon as that nation dies, the armies just start moving again, retaking a ton of major cities, taking a ton of major cities, and just decimating Russia, until the front line eventually stabilizes in Ukraine, eventually in Belarus as well, and in the Far East as this kind of happens. This is stalemated for a few years, until someone kills Putin. Should have done it white. I'll do it grey. Until someone kills Putin, and the rest of the Russian state collapses. I did it grey, so you can see it's just gone. Yeah. So the entire of Russia collapses into a mass rebellion with no clear government being chosen. The surrounding powers do take advantage of this, trying to claim as much, take some land to kind of get this peace treaty. With the Brown team meeting up with Ukraine, and this kind of being left with a few major, few major rebellion groups kind of like coming out, with a sort of rebellion happening around Moscow. I'm trying to find colours, I don't really matter at this point now, with a rebellion kind of breaking around here, and the union of two cities, I'm going to call it, kind of being there. With the final major city being inside of another rebellion. You find a colour. That's there. And the grey bit kind of just being no clear winner. This is what is left of Russia. I'm going to do a peace treaty, and I'll show you what happens in the peace treaty after. So to end off the video, we have the peace treaty shown below. I forgot to colour in Poland. There. Okay. Anyway, we have Poland getting Kaliningrad, which happened earlier, but still. We have Belarus getting firstly independence, and all of this land shown. The Finnish group holds an ultimatum, and it wins by landfall to unite with Finland. This sort of northern country gets quite a lot of northern land, with these two southern countries getting kind of the major populated areas. Ukraine expands a lot, Georgia expands and reclaims the old territories that are taken, and the US makes some reverse Alaska kind of thing, with them taking that. China takes a lot of Russian and also annexes Mongolia. Not a lot of Russian, a lot of Russian land. And these sort of rebellions in the middle kind of being sorted, with this one getting that land, this one getting that land, the Twin City one getting that land, this Major City one getting this land, and the Moscow rebellion getting this land, with them getting aid from the other nations to sort out the rest of rebellions in the region, bar Poland, because Poland ended the war a lot quicker. Anyway, that is the end of this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you like this video, like it please. And if you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel because I post stuff like this. And I hope you have a nice day. Goodbye.